Saudi, brother. I don't know why.
They're buying.
Look at that
chips.
bounce off 8, eh?
I know.
Clean. I told
crazy cream of the crop.
Look, man. I mean, you know what the Saudi Public Investment Fund, the PIF, has been pouring money into Lucid, right? It's kind of like their EV baby. So I'm pretty sure they just don't want to turn their back on it here. And you know how it works in the kingdom, man. Like, you know, if you're part of the Saudi royal family, right? You know.
You'd be doing all right. You'd be doing all right.
That's
money, Trump change. Yeah, that's Trump change to these guys probably anyways. They just, the amount of time that we've spoke about it, they probably just made that back within selling some oil to someone. Or
I love you. Look at this. Look at this. They need to buy some interceptor missiles. Yes, they do, Notorious Dinkelberg. Yes, they do need to. And they need newer ones too that don't cost $1 million to $1.5 million a pop. Per kill. We talked a lot about this, right? We talked about cost per kill and how important that's going to be in the modern warfare with drones, right? You can't be spending the Patriot missile cost to bring down a $50,000 to a $200,000 drone. It's just the economics don't work.
No, sir.
Shout out to Adam. Adam James Abroad. One of my stops was 560, filled 493. Adam, get it, my man. It's been a day today, guys. So I hope everybody had a good time. Joey, send them off.
Yeah, I'm in Lucid once again here. See if we can get a little pop back towards the high of the day. This may or may not work, as simplistic as it may be said, but we took a scalp on it already. Let's see if we can get a retest and this buy program continues, or this short squeeze, whatever it is. Regardless, we need it to come and run into that HOD. I hope everyone has a fantastic day and a wonderful session. Plenty more of Sharif and I throughout the week. It's only Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Then the following is Thursday. I go on? And then it is Friday.
Then Friday?
Friday. Oh, it's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday, which I will be covering for the Katina Man himself on Friday. There it goes, Sharif.
Where you headed, Katina Man?
Where you headed, Katina Man?
Some of this.
Oh, you can't. Don't even
away
ask
from
him.
Home? Ottawa.
Ottawa, the nation's capital. Okay, yeah, this is not good. See you later. I hope everyone has a good one here today. Let's not panic and take some off. A nice little scalp city on this bad boy once again. Man, a chip and a chair is all your boy needs sometimes.
The Lucid tape is going crazy.
It's going absolutely nuts.
The Lucid tape is going crazy.
And that's why I decided to buy this $8 hold, Sharif. And just like, hey, man, let's see what we got going on here.
You punch in 20,000 shares?
I wish. If that was the case, then Katina Man would be covering for me on Friday, as I would be going to enjoy. But yeah, that's what we got going on right now. It's pure money for sure. So good stuff here. We'll send it up. Need us take any more time from the boys to our right because
already 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes, crazy. All right, guys. Adios, amigos. Hope everyone has a fantastic day.
I'm going to do this one more time. There goes the high of the day.
Come
my
back.
Days, bro.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, 20,000 shares would be like a keystroke. We would not mean to take that many shares, of course, of Lucid.
There's a Busta Rhymes song for this, but I don't know if we're alled to play it.
Does it have explicit lyrics, Neil?
I mean,
A-Rab money?
I'm sure there's a clean version for A-Rab money. I'm sure.
I don't think there's. Yeah, is there?
We getting A-Rab money?
Okay, we're back on this, man. That was the hardest track.
Yo, this is ripping, man. Here's 850, Neil.
850 on
Pull up the screen, man. Everything's looking pretty good.
Saudi Prince buys.
Take a little bit more. Shout out
Saudi
to
Prince has it
I love Saudi Arabia even more now.
This guy, bro.
So there it is, man. Good.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, that's good. It's starting to go upside.
Yeah, the story was I don't know, it was Saudi Prince. Saudi.
That was from earlier.
From way earlier. That's the crazy thing about it. It's not like that story. I mean, Adara brought it to us. Oh, great! Now my thing isn't loading. I was gonna say what time it is, but my news service thing has like the wheel of death right now. But it was a while back, and then it was almost like it caught volume late, and then once it started going, you just get what seems like a short covering rally. Like this is what's crazy about this is there were day one people that were all over the bankruptcy story that you would think would have been stopped out. Maybe there were some reshorts or something along those lines. But yeah, this seems like a pure squeeze play. It's dragging some weird things along with it. Like to me, if you're getting some weird sympathy plays that don't have a story that are picking up on volume, once they die down, like they're not the story. AMC is not the story. It literally had a breakout at 7.5% because of this Lucid thing. The second it fails a high, this is to me a reversion back into VWAP. I just paid for locates on this because I think if Lucid makes even a little bit of a turn, it takes some of these followers with it. But crazy moves in Lucid. Get that Arab money.
Yeah, crazy moves in Lucid today. We got a crazy move in Google. Google's now $9 in the money as it goes upside. We get back from the gym. We take a little piece off there at 334.50. But we do have to remind everybody about our good sponsor, Oragenics, right now, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company has now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies, Randy. Nice haircut. Alongside that, Oragenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. So check out Oragenics. I need to remind everybody that Lucid is still under $1. Like, this is an $8 stock, but it's been reverse split a few times. And absolutely, and look, it's a nice day here for Lucid, but as we all know, it's been really hit pretty badly, right? We had a 1-to-10 split back in September, and this is what the Lucid stock looks like. Yeah, it's nothing though. It's going to be down tomorrow. But this is what Lucid looks like. Right, so it has a high of $650. It right now is at $8. So it's been a nice rebound of a day. And I mean, obviously, Randy and everybody, as we get this story there of more money being pumped into Lucid, that's good. Just not too long ago, back 2 weeks ago, they also had some worries of bankruptcy, which will be happening probably soon. But this is a nice bump up there today, up to $850. And congratulations. Excuse me, anybody that was on Lucid here today. I mean, it's a nice move. And it's a late story, right? I mean, I thought we had that story earlier.
Way earlier. It was during the morning show.
And then my bet is, of course, because I don't think anything moves, just naturally. They realized that story was getting them absolutely nowhere. So they came in, turned the machines on. Once these machines turn off, you should be paying for shorts on Lucid. Downside play here moving forward. The story didn't work. So they turned it on. They pumped in probably another couple $1 million into this name, and just to see what's going on. And then, probably dumping back. I mean, it's all rigged stuff, right? So you got to be careful with any pump and dump, almost to the exact extreme there. So there's the break of that 675, and it just worked. So I'd be willing to take a bet that this goes underneath 820 at the close today, but we'll see what happens with Lucid. I can try for 100 shares and see, or 200 shares. No, so
it's never been free.
Yeah, we got to pay for shorts on this one. So I think I'm going to go in there and try it, get a little short action there on Lucid. But yeah, it's been a pretty good day, man. We hovered around. I mean, Google was written down here on the sticky note today at 326. So there it is. It's at 334 right now. We have one out there, just a small piece left to get going. Then we had the Apple long, which was great early. It's still okay now, but Apple's not doing the same thing Google's doing, right? So we're happy with that one. And then tomorrow at this time, Randy, we have Fed. So that should be exciting.
If these guys were worrying about 3 extra minutes, we'll be coming on early tomorrow to give the interest rate decision, which is in question. That's the exciting thing about tomorrow. Let's refresh it. It was 36% chance of a rate hike. Well, that wouldn't be good for Lucid either. It's the small cappers that get hit the most. I think this is a little bit slower. It has come down a bit, still at 29, but that still puts it in question.
Okay.
It is going depending on how you want to look at it. Like, I can say the right way, but I guess if you're trying to be bullish about it, you don't want the race to go up. So we'll call it moving in the right direction here, that heading to the downside. But it's still going to be in question with there being a 3 in 10 chance. At least that's what the markets are pricing. And I know our viewers were pretty skeptical. I think I'm pretty skeptical. I think they leave them the same. There's other levers that they can pull, other ways to tighten monetary policy other than raising rates. I think they'll probably explore that. It's like, did Warsh come in just so he could immediately raise rates? Even though if you look at his history, that kind of could be in the modus operandi. I think he'll at least try to be a little bit patient about it. So we're gonna go up to Adara, as Lucid's pulling back.
I mean, we called this Lucid at 820, man. Now
I said I'm
damn
shorting
it.
immediately AMC the second because it shouldn't have been going up in the first place. It doesn't make any sense. That being said, we're going to go back up to
We'll see. Maybe it won't work. We'll see.
Just be aware, guys, President Trump could be speaking at Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral at any moment. That was supposed to start at 2. The funeral is still ongoing, so if I hear anything from Trump, I'll let you know. Again, you'd like to think that this would not be a market-moving set of comments, but it always could be, so I will keep you guys all posted. I also want to talk here about this announcement from the Department of Transportation. Keep an eye on some of these space talks. I just checked SPCX and RKLB aren't moving on this, but you could also look at the likes of ASTS, LUNR. Basically, according to the Department of Transportation, the FAA, or the Federal Aviation Administration in the U.S. is launching a new initiative to streamline commercial space licensing. That'll make it faster and easier for some of these companies to secure approvals to launch rockets. So it's going to be especially good look here, I think, for SpaceX, ASTS as well. If I hear anything else, I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
That was a rocket.
Yeah, that was a rocket ship the wrong way there. All right, well, there it is. I mean, it's only too bad that I'm not short at $8.20. I mean, I should have realized this, and when those guys were going crazy about Lucid going up a little bit there, damn it, that would have been a much nicer take there. But we're gonna get out. I'm only out of a quarter of it there at 80s. So we actually got an 84 and an 80. Was it an 890? I think we got a 90 and a 94. So we're short here at 99 right now on Lucid, and just waiting to see where it goes. Look, I think we could stop. I said over under 820. I think that's about right. Like if we wind up stopping out around 830, something like that. I don't really want to give it a chance to run the high, because what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up punching out, and then 850 might be the high. So I'd rather just take a smaller hit, get out around 830, so we can put that in right now. We'll see about taking a little bit more shares, if depending on how it acts here back there to the upside. Ideally, a lot of outs, if we can get them, between 60 and 80, somewhere in this area, will give us, enough to celebrate a trade here on Lucid. So, okay, we'll just wait to see where it goes from here, but we're short right now on LCID on what I think is a fugazi. So we'll wait to see. If I'm wrong or not, could cost me a Lucid here if it goes back upside. But we're doing that here, and then I'm so small on Google right now, I'm just waiting for it to either cross this 200 period moving average and stop out of that right there, right? I mean, we rode this as far, we basically really happy to get the majority of our last few shares out at 330. Off the 326, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what got under this thing. I wasn't here, but 11:15, it just went boom right there to the upside, and then it's just been, going higher as we trot out some Google shares, and we really, really like this name here for the long term, and we bought some at 320. It might be a little early to start picking up some of these shares, but that's what we're doing right now with Google, waiting for that to break and just trying to massage this Lucid position a little bit. If we have to take profit, we have to take profit. It's already, because of the amount of shares and everything like that, it's already going to be near the top of the day here, P&L wise. So we could cover it now and wait, or, let's see if there's a little bit more downside to LCID.
I think that, I look, anytime you see that kind of a topping tail, I waited for the first sign of red and just jump anything. Rivian had already gone, so that wasn't an opportunity. I was mentioning, just under the breath there, I want to get to it a quick little second. SpaceX is now starting to put in some lower highs. What's interesting about this,
short on that one,
is I know it's a rocket today, pun loosely intended, but really, since it made that last leg down under 120, it hasn't broke. The first bounce was into 119, and it never actually broke that. So you really still are in the bottom end of the range. Yeah, the first time that it's putting in a higher high, but it did make a fresh low today. So if this isn't breaking out above 119 into 120, the structure of the down move, as crazy as this is still somewhat intact on SpaceX. And I know it's wild to say, given the V-shaped recovery that it had. It needs to maintain these lower highs. That's for sure. Because it's starting to groove up here. See how it's kind of grooving up from 115? Stop that, break down, keep these lower highs. I think SpaceX, and I know I paid for locates this morning. We're just going to double, because I didn't actually trade it this morning for the first time. So double check to make sure that I did pay for the locates. I could have checked the page, but we did. We just haven't used them yet. But I think this is one, even if it gets to VWAP, it's $3. So I want to see it underneath 115 and a half, and then it can get going. Obviously, the market is trying to recover from what was a pretty nasty early morning, but it's starting to give it up again. Like it did the V shape, but we're really trending back in. So I want to try to find some shorts. In the chat, someone was mentioning Intel bouncing off VWAP. Down 6 points. Like, it's hard for me to like long right now on Intel. Underneath yesterday's low, lower highs. So yeah, it could break this trend. I'd probably be looking for something to break down this afternoon on Intel instead of looking for the bounce. I'm putting this one in the other bucket this afternoon. Could be wrong about it, but like I'd rather not play the long and wait for a short setup on Intel just because like it's been such a dog. It might do this again where it just rammed off VWAP here in the afternoon, but I want to give it a chance to break down.
We already we tried SpaceX shorting already here today. It's gonna be the stock that we have in the red zone here today is SpaceX. I mean, this part was fine into 113, and then we got a pretty good spot at 116, kind of where it is right now. But then it broke through, and you know, not good thing we got out. But we got out at 116.50 there. It does go as high as 117.50. I do think that that's a decent short aspect right there. Okay, man, we're gonna have to wait to see now what winds up happening with Lucid. There's the break higher, so you know we took 10 cents. We're out of the money now, 10 cents, but it's starting to go. So we'll have to be patient with it. Maybe this is just not high enough yet, and it still continues to tick just a bit more northbound. The reason why I like the short there, it just looks like near the top here, as we started to go, the volume started to pick up, and you know, downside from there potentially. So you know, we'll wait. We could take some out right now and basically be still up on the stock, but we're not going to do that. Just tried to get a little more short at 20. After that, we're going to stop out because it looks like Lucid right now, potentially upside. I liked it that the volume had died down. This is why we went short. Looked like it was trying to break back down through $8. You know, just giving it to, I mean, our stop is always going to be 8.30, so it'd be 30 cents. Hopefully we can get, like I said, the maximum we were looking for was down here about 30 cents. So we got another cover just before it blew up there at 787. So another cover down there, but still with half of this position on for Lucid. So could be a problem there to the downside. Boeing, did you say?
Well, you said 787.
Yeah, I mean, Boeing has been a good
Speaking of,
yeah, what's Boeing?
Weird transition to 5% up for Boeing.
Right, nice.
Well, I mean, you gotta give them credit here for Boeing, because how many companies in this earnings season are going to be able to pull off a wider loss than expected, and then do this? Like that's where things have turned a bit of a corner here. It looks like for Boeing. You can make. I know there was a lot made. At least I think I heard so about the backlog. Mm-hmm. How can you have like this much of a backlog? And I get it, it's big, but keep in mind, it's a decade-long plus backlog for them and Airbus. There's only two of them, and they both have a backlog. So that's who you're comping it to. Like you can't, like you can say whatever you want about the backlog, but hey, they got one competitor, and their competitor is more or less in the same boat. Sure, they've got other problems going on, but that's one of those criticisms that you got to watch out for, because really it's like Coke and Pepsi here, and Boeing, it's making higher lows into a flat top break potential, and it's going to close above the 50 and 200. It's going to, at least for one more day, avoid the death cross. I mean, how long it's able to do that, who knows? If anything, that might be a good setup for a long. The fact that it flashes the death cross can have some people go short. I think so. Volcan Sisek, thank you for the super chat there. Hey guys, will we see a big dump on SK Hynix tonight and continue pressure? Will they report tonight? Pressure on MU SanDisk and of course SK. Tonight? What is your view? Well, I don't know the timing, because obviously it's I'm not sure the exact time, because it'll be in Asia. So I couldn't tell you when, but it is tonight for sure. So we'll be trading post earnings on SK Hynix. But it's fallen so far. And remember, the numbers will probably look very, very good. That's the thing you have to, like, this is not like some crazy valuation with SK Hynix. Like, this is in the single digits. And just like Micron. And we've seen them blow out earnings over and over and over again. So you got to keep that in mind. They're going to be good numbers, and they've bled so badly going into this. Like, it would not surprise me if you see an initial bounce on the beat. But again, we're not going to get to trade it until we've already seen the overnight action. Like, that's the wild thing for us. So first report, not forever because the company's been around a while, but first report since they did the issue for sure. And it's already been giving up the ghost. But this is not like SpaceX. You know what I mean? They got earnings. They have growth. Some fundamentals here.
All right. Yeah, I didn't even realize SK Hynix was reporting. So just, ears to the ground tonight. If you're doing nothing, go check out SK Hynix and figure out what that report's going to look like. I mean, you're going to hear it all tonight on the Kospi. I mean, last night I got a note. It was like, oh, SK Hynix down 10%. I was like, oh, great. It's going to be a good day tomorrow. And yeah, downside there too. Is why we came in today only looking short. We did look long on Google. We did take the long on Apple, but the looking of the short was part of the key. And we talked about the TQ's early short today as well. Here comes Lucid. So, now we have under half left. We got a great cover down there. We got 81s there for a cover for 20 cents there. It's too bad. Like, we were moments away from getting more short up near the highs there. But yeah, that's going to be very, very risky business there, Lucid. Let's just hold now. Maybe we do get something, some love back in on the 60 spot right here. I'm going to go find you guys today's earnings, and we talked about this over and over again. We've got Lucid on our minds right now, but I'm just going to find it. Here is the earnings calendar that I wanted to look at right into here. So if we have a quick look, I mean, it's all about tonight. There's not too much, man. Visa, Enphase, Ford, whatever. We'll wait to see that. Bloom Energy's in a world of hurt, that's for sure. We can wait to see if there's anything going on with that. I mean, that was down to 170 or something off of a high of 320. Like I said, I mean, we're all looking smart when things are ripping. Let's find out what Bloom Energy has to say on the dependence on China. But tomorrow, man, big one. SoFi coming in the pre-market. Robinhood coming in the after hours. So those should be two big ones to look out for there. SoFi and Robinhood coming through tomorrow. So it should be a fun one. Qualcomm is a name that I'm invested in. Like the name, we've recently, I mean, we bought ARM at 200 and sold it, some at 300, some at 440, 400, 440 out. Maybe get back into ARM, depending on what kind of a quarter they wind up having. We have Jersey Mike's coming soon, so there's Chipotle tomorrow night as well. But yeah, PayPal this morning, UPS, I heard Sharif talking about that, and Coca-Cola. I mean, the thing about Coca-Cola is that you're seeing a stock, Berkshire, BRK.B.
It's a good day today for them.
I'm in this name, so it's been pretty good. Not paying dividends though, so it's not like it's, look, man, I've been in this name for years, but it's just basically doing nothing. But you're trying to break out now. So, maybe on that good Coke, good shares in Apple, obviously as Apple takes out all-time highs and is now the world's richest company, this should benefit Berkshire. So we'll see if that gets going to the upside again, but a good day today on the back of KO, right? I mean, Coke earnings were, I think it was up 6% at one point. Oh, wow. And that's really fallen here in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Coke, but what did touch that 90 zone? And there it is, right? There's the break of 86 up to 90 and faded quite well back in right now.
I guess when you think about it, like the tech stocks came back a lot. So like maybe some of it was like profit taking is all the
they
panic
sold
buying,
the ones that were winning, and
like sold some of the winners, and then
Nvidia was
put
a
that
great
money back
long.
into Nvidia. You
194.
But even Palantir that dropped almost everything that was cascading to the downside. There's a lot of V-shaped recoveries in the Qs, whether you're able to find it in, like say Micron, for example. Like I know, look, Micron's down 9%. I get it, but it bounced $40 off the lows. Like there was a point at which this was, doing a very good job off of the lows. I think we showed Intel with a good little bounce there, AMD. They all had a good bounce. So it makes sense to me that some of the rotation came away from those names. AMD bounced $25 here. Still down 8%. Yeah, what was AMD down at the low here? 440. Was looking at probably more so DRAM and Intel most of the morning. 442. So AMD at the peak dropped $52 from a 49 close. So that would be almost 11 points. Like that's.
Yeah, no, I was looking at AMD before as well, and I was like, what in the. I'm going to create we should have Brian Shannon on soon. I'm going to create a 5-day moving average. He's always talking. Ooh, nice move, Lucid.
5 in the 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go here, look for moving average, exponential. I want to do simple. I'll ask him what it is, if it's simple or exponential or not. All right, I'm going to use 5-period moving average and do it via We have red. We don't really have that. Might not show up well on the screen. Maybe a light green. I don't know if that's going to show up as well. Very good. Let's go a little wider on that one. Ew, no, you can't even see that at all in there. Okay, we'll figure it all out. Maybe dark. No, I need to make this a lot wider if we're going to see anything here. But that doesn't look right. The 5-day moving average. I mean, I guess if it breaks it back up, yeah, you start to go, okay. We'll keep it on there for a minute, and I'll see if we can use it somehow. But yeah, okay. We have a Dara now at the wall. We'll go get it all figured out, and I'm going to figure out how to put on a 5-day moving average.
Hello, everyone. It's time for this afternoon's edition of To the Window, To the Wall, where I pull up an infographic window and we talk about it on the wall. Now, the alternate name for this could be Elon's fall from grace, but no, all jokes aside, what I wanted to do, and I kind of like to update this visual every time there's like a big move here for someone or a couple people's net worth, is I like to update this look according to the Forbes Real-Time Billionaires list of the 10 richest people in the world. Now, obviously, this is like publicly known wealth. This doesn't include, I'm sure there's a lot of people with wealth, princes, etc. This is just people that we know of whose wealth we can track. That's who this infographic covers. So let's get right into it. Now, Elon Musk is still in the #1 spot. He's held this spot for quite some time now. But last time I looked at this visual, his market cap was his net worth was around 1.2, 1.3 trillion. Now, as of yesterday afternoon, when I updated this visual, it was actually below 700 billion. So his net worth has fallen quite sharply from last time we checked up on him. You still have the Google boys here, Larry and Sergey, in the 2 and 3 spot. They've been there quite consistently for the last, I want to say, couple months or so, maybe longer. Jeff Bezos coming in 4th here. Michael Dell. This is a man who last year when I started making this visual would not be found on this list at all. Now he's number 5. So nice look here for Michael Dell, $232 billion net worth. Mark Zuckerberg and his net worth will probably change here after Mag 7 earnings. I might update this visual again after those earnings. He's currently in 6th place, though. In 7th place, Jensen Huang, a man who's steadily been climbing his way up this list with a $169.5 billion net worth as of yesterday afternoon. And poor Larry Ellison, he's all the way in 8th place. Now, last September, he actually usurped Elon briefly for the #1 spot. Now he's in 8th place. So in terms of net worth falling, he's probably the most significant here, just over both a prolonged and even a more recent period of time. 9th place, Bernard Arnault of LVMH. And in the 10th spot, you have Warren Buffett, who is actually back on this list. Last time I updated this, the Zara founder was there and Warren Buffett was out. So he's back on. Keep you guys posted here on this visual, which you can find, as always, on X at TTV Research. Now, I know it's a big earnings week. I've mostly been posting earnings-related visuals here on X at TTV Research with that in mind, but I want to switch things up. I want to give you guys some different content here during the To the Window, To the Wall segment. However, if you guys do want any earnings infographics to be featured here, if there's anything that you want me to talk about or make infographics about at any time, please just let me know, guys. Please tag me in the chat or comment even on the post for XATTV Research so I can give you guys some more content. I am working on a really fun SpaceX visual, hoping to have that for this segment over the next couple days. But either way, stay tuned. Always fun stuff both here at this wall and on X at TTV Research, and as always, on tradertv.live. So with that, we're gonna send you back over to the guys.
As always, thank you, Adara. But I don't know, just low-key LVMH.
Yeah.
Right? Like being on that list while being the most anonymous, that's a bit of a mini flex. And we were sort of saying maybe Michael Dell fits in that category. I'm not sure he does, because at least for us here, like he's on program.
Yeah, we know.
You see him around. Like I think he's pretty well known, but Bernard I don't know for sure. Dell, I feel like this was the one stock. Like it's hard to say you were surprised by anything this morning for some of the dips, but I think when Sean said Dell was down 16% or whatever it was at least 15%, if not about 16 at the lows, that was the one that, okay, yeah, it was real. And it did feel like there was it did feel capitulatory, just given the breadth of names that were falling and the manner in which they didn't have a bid and all the dumping that was going on there. Oddly enough, just after single stock futures came back to the markets. It's a weird one. It's like they had them, they dumped them, now they brought them back because retail wants more to be able to trade for single stock futures. Whether or not that had anything to do with it, it's going sideways. But the V-shape, this is a good recovery for them. They're holding up. It's the names that are dipping now. Is Intel breaking VWAP? No. Yeah, well, yeah, it's trying to go in it right now. So Intel's finally trying to break down a little bit here. So that's going to be on watch for me if it can close underneath the 86 level. Just saw. All right, there is like, I know everyone's like talking about like Lucid. There are some of those traditional small cappers. One which is now halted twice, down twice though, PSQH. So if you're in this one, it's probably not going too well. Second down halt for PSQH. That cannot hold on to the volume weighted average price, and that one is losing the bid. It is giving me a tap of flat, so it looks like this one will open up pretty much exactly flat. I wouldn't expect, the president is speaking, but hey, he's speaking at a funeral, so I'm not necessarily expecting. Well, I wouldn't be expecting anything terribly market moving here, but he is speaking at a funeral.
Yeah, right now he's just talking about Lindsey Graham. So right now, nothing wild has happened yet. If that changes, I'll keep you guys posted. I am listening to the funeral.
I mean, I'd be surprised.
All right, yeah. I mean, that should be interesting to see if there's anything said. I think I'm with you guys. I think that'd be, not a great look. I mean, but who knows? If people are asking him questions, he'll answer them. So we'll wait. I just tweeted out, we started the short here on Lucid, but I'm just covering for, this is 15 to 20 cents is the most that I've gotten so far on this. This is the problem is I can't get away from the idea of I normally look short here at these levels. So therefore, or long, I use these markers here. This is a 50 period moving average. I use this as an indicator. So the fact that it's bouncing off of it, doesn't surprise me. And at the same time, it's not much I can really do about it. Hopefully it will fall back in, and just trying to hold. I got about a third left on this stock right now. So hopefully it'll drop back in, and then if we can get something at 60s. Remember when we were talking about 60, that's when we were actually watching the 50 period moving average. Now the 50 period moving average is all the way up here. So I think we should actually maybe think about taking a little bit more out. Google right there, okay, not really doing too much. That's the other position that we're in. And my eyes are going everywhere trying to see if there's any other opportunities for us to trade.
Atlas is pretty quiet, man.
Yeah, right now hopefully we'll have Brian Shannon come on. We can talk to him about a few things as well. I like to get up there in IBM over the last couple of days as well. I saw some traders talking about that one.
Back to 220.
Yeah, my boat's pretty full on IBM, but yeah, nice move there, back upside. This is what I'm expecting to happen with Google. And then if you're not into Google now, you may have missed the bottom. I don't know, but there's the flush there on IBM, and then a couple days, obviously it was a pre-report, but there's their earnings where we actually got lower into $200, and then it went whoosh after 2 or 3 days back to the upside. So we'll see if Google has that whoosh moment as well. Trying to do it right now. We're in the money on Google, but I like IBM down there. That was a good one to maybe pick up just a little bit. Our target is definitely getting some of this right now. TGT on New York up to 144 now. This is a name that we've been watching for a while. Target blowing up right now, taking it out at 142. We were just talking about the other week that it was down here near the 50 period moving average. Actually, that was Thursday or Friday, and now it's taking out some of these highs as we've seen Walmart battle back as well, up a couple bucks from that 108 level. But yeah, Target, just looks just so much better than the way Walmart's looking, but maybe it's time to switch from one into the other. Just the get up that we had in Target, being long down in the 80s, 90s, maybe even a bit lower. We've been holding Target for a minute there. And upside, just a great move. Was not expecting that at all. Initially bought it. I liked the dividend, and there's a few other reasons there. But yeah, Target right now working out, that's for sure, to the upside, up another 2.5% today, as names like Costco and Walmart just kind of move around, right? So we'll have to wait to see if Costco can retake that $1,000 mark. But it was down to $850 was the time before. We had made a nice move, right into there. There's $850 on Costco, bounced all the way back to 11, before dropping again. And Costco on the come up again, back to the upside. What's up, Adara?
Seeing reports here, this could be why we had this move in solar. Basically, these reports are suggesting, according to unnamed U.S. officials, that the Trump administration is planning, as of potentially today, to roll out bans on foreign imports of new models of robots and inverters. This could also include potentially bans of Chinese power inverters. So that, I guess, could impact some of these solar names. You had a spike higher, and then a drop back lower in some of these solar names. Keep in mind, First Solar reports on Thursday after the bell, Enphase today after the bell. Back to you.
There you go. And that explains why I saw some people in the chat there. So we messaged Dara like, hey, do you see anything? Because I didn't. Enphase, Sunrun, all got just random, it looks like random spikes, but like just insta selling. Like the wicks on these candles, they're like, oh, no, that's no good. We're going to dump them. Like, that's crazy that even when there is like some kind of a headline, there's just absolutely no follow through. So I'd be thinking fade. If you could, on those bad boys. Do we even have? Yeah, we can fade that one for sure. So yeah, I mean, Enphase heading to the downside doesn't look very good whatsoever. So I think I want to take a shot at this one. It is free for locates. It shows you 36.6 was that local high that it tried to break away from, and now you're headed back lower.
Yeah, I'm still stuck here. I was actually answering what's up to Jesse Martinez. I noticed I have all of these messages from Twitter that I've just sort of left in there and kind of forgot about right there and didn't even see them. So I gotta, it hides your messages if it's from people that you're not following, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's new.
But anyways, okay.
Well,
so there's the dip down, man. We just tanked a little bit anyways. We got to 73s there on Lucid. Let's put out another bid. Let's go to 75. Right here. It's just sad because we should have been short a while ago on this name, and we weren't able to grab it, and that was that. I really wanted to look at 820 there for the short. We had to pay the piper and go in there and get the shortable shares, and once that wound up happening, at that point it was a little too late, but whatever, man, I ain't scared of that. So we take the short there anyways, and now it's downside, and here it goes, man. Lucid now, moving up the ranks here today as we go. Still looking for a short in SpaceX, but I really want to see it break 114.50. So this may be like when it's collapsing and, you guys are saying, yeah, what's going on with SpaceX? At that point, maybe we'll start to look short. We already lost right into here on SpaceX, basically at these levels. That high, though, of 117 could be something. There, I don't understand. I thought, we nailed it when we thought the machines were going to turn off there. It looks like they did, but at the end of the day, we still got stopped out trying to hold on to that short. So that does not work out. And now we wait to see if we could get some revenge on SpaceX. But I'm glad I'm glad Sharif and my guy over here, Joe, were going a little excited there about Lucid because, we were able to put it on our account, and here we go, man. Upside for Lucid has stopped temporarily. So we'll sit here and wait to see if we can catch this downside drift. I'm now in only 25% of this stock. We did get that a couple of fills there. We got 80s and we just got 75s. So yeah, we're doing pretty good, being able to wait for this name to come through for us. So if it continues, fine. Maybe we even stop out for flat now if we break above $8. I think that's probably pretty reasonable. Even 8.10. I mean, now that we only have a quarter left, it's going to be a profitable look for us on LCID. It's funny because Tesla bounced off 300. You talked about a recovery day today for some of the names. That was I mean, it's not huge, but that's a pretty good move. It does get to 311 there, and then whoa to the downside. You said you read an article about somebody saying there's a merger possibility, but what that might look like. It
was an analyst throwing out some
Lucid,
I think, insane numbers for a potential merger and what Tesla shareholders would get to own half the company and the premium that they would get, considering they don't make any money. It was like $480 in relative value. I'm like, that's a lot. We're going to the desk. I believe it is Sia for happening now.
Okay.
Is it important? Let's take a look at the market right now at the three major averages quickly and send it to Odera. She has an update for you. You have SPY that's up 0.24%. The triple Qs are down close to 1% on the day. The Dow is up 1%, a little over 1%. And the IWM is also up a little bit, not major, a little bit. We're going to take a look at two tickers. I want to talk to you about AMKR that is down significantly on the day, sliding further 25%, tumbling after the company has issued a weaker than expected guidance for the third quarter. Company is seeing its top line range of $1.95 billion to $2.05 billion. Analysts have polled by FactSet that have said that had expected sales around $2.1 billion. So next one I want to talk about is IQV. So IQVIA
has rallied, I would say. The shares are currently up close. It's 11.5. It was 12% earlier after the company's reported better than expected results for its second quarter. The company has also hiked its earnings and revenue guidance for the year. CEO Ari Bousbib has said that the company has granted quote unquote record level net new bookings for over $3.1 billion. So both tickers, you have AMKR, that's on the downside, almost 25%, and then you have IQV, that's up 11.5%, sending it to Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know President Trump finished his eulogy for Senator Lindsey Graham. That is now complete. So right now he's not talking. He's not set to talk again until 6:30, and I don't even think that's on camera. So nothing to worry about there. Keep an eye here on CCXI, though. So this company is Churchill Capital. They are set to merge with Agility Robotics sometime this year. This is a special purpose acquisition corp or a SPAC. Now, this robotics connection is pretty significant because, as we know, we get the headline, FCC planning reportedly to ban Chinese humanoid and quadruped robot imports. So that would be a good look for companies like Agility Robotics, which again will be merging with CCXI. So nice look here for CCXI today. Back to you.
Yeah, those SPACs. Yeah, if I showed you, I don't have a chart for it, but suffice to say, anecdotally, the SPACs this year have been absolutely terrible.
Oh, okay.
Because they IPO at $10, right? So you just look at them when they come out. I just have the IPO page up, so I see this thing every single day, and I see whoops, there you go. So you'll see there's a SPAC, CATLU, and you see, look at this. Most of this is SPAC, and then they're all opening. Not all of them, but the overall majority of them are opening up, and it's $9.97, $9.96. You're just instantly underneath that $10 price, which is wild when you consider it, because remember, if they find a deal that you don't like, you can opt out of the deal and get $10. So the fact that they're pre-deal when they're coming to market, instantly underneath, when it used to be some of them would open, even Chamath's newest one was last year, maybe it was early in this year, I think it opened 3 or 4% up and held because it had some hype. The rest of them they're essentially getting, not rugged, but they're just instantly out of the money on most of them. And there's a lot of them this year. They're coming back, which I think is a bad thing. So SpaceX, look, it double tapped here, the lower high, the 117. So I'm jumping in when it broke the 16. We'll give it to this. The top is actually 80s or so. So 116.80 would be the out. ENPH still breakdown after that news story. It kind of tagged right in front of my first bid at 10s. But I'll just leave it in there, try to get picked up a little bit on that bad boy. So, by the way, the one thing I did not show you, we didn't zoom out of Enphase. Mm-hmm. So this is me zooming out on Enphase so that you can see it's also yesterday's low that it would be breaking down underneath. So that's a confluence that I kind of like there for that one. And then we jumped into that AMC wick, did not take out the top, just waiting for it to come all the way back. I feel like Lucid will probably have to come all the way back, and then this one should fall. There was nothing, there was no story. This just started breaking when Lucid started breaking up. So that's why we jumped into it. If we do have, I think we're going to have, I don't see any reason we're not going to have Brian. But one of the things that I think makes sense to ask him is what he feels about I want to see what he thinks about capitulatory bottoms when it comes to an anchored VWAP. It's one thing to say, okay, IBM, first thing that comes to mind, right? That disastrous move in IBM. Right? Because it's sort of obvious to say, okay, preliminary earnings that are a tank or an earnings, throw an anchored on that. But what about something like what you would have seen in this morning SK Hynix and Palantir, where you just had such a random maybe the wrong word, but you just had such a distinct sell-off that almost every stock that got beat up today, whether it's AMD, whether it's Micron, whether it's Palantir, just insert whoever was down 10, Dell down 15%. Is this something worth enough of a market event that you put an anchor on that and see what happens if we retest that anchor low or the anchor from there? So I'm going to be curious as to whether you start extending it past earnings, extending it past preliminary earnings, extending it past, say, an Apple event or a Fed day.
That's funny. You and I were thinking the same thing. I was going to ask, I think that's a perfect example with IBM.
Well, IBM,
I remember we asked him something maybe similar last week or whatever about, when there's a bottom, how can we maybe finally step in? And he was talking about the 5-day. That's why.
Yeah, though you're putting the 5-day on
the
there.
5-day moving average on.
I guess, you know what? It's maybe a different stock putting it on the 5-day.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe something. He's waiting for it to start to, fade or, sort of begin its ascend or descend on the 5 minutes. So we can, on the 5 day, we can ask him about it Wednesday morning. Yeah, there's too many flies up.
Like, I don't understand, there's no open window or anything. We have so many.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, maybe this because there's things of garbage just outside our area over there. All right, our best out here, 70s for Lucid. We are light right now, man. We're under 20% left now on Lucid. So this has been a big one, man. We're happy. Not a big one, but we're happy with it there today. It'll be my P&L still number 3, because we have Apple, Google's still huge, of course, and then Lucid right there as well. And then the loser of the day, SpaceX, as we wait to see what's going on there. At least I lost short, actually, which I can live with a little bit there. Wanted to look at the short. We initially wanted the short there, had it back in the other end of it all. We had some super chats this morning about Nvidia, and I was like, I don't know if Nvidia is the right way to trade this move down, only because if it winds up breaking, then I wasn't sure what was underneath. We've had a bunch of buys, and it was breaking 190, so we weren't there yet. And I was like, if you wanted to buy it off the 200, I think you could start to work the position. But I think the question was like, when can we start to load up on it? I'd rather wait again to see, just like we're gonna hopefully have Brian on and talk about VWAP and stuff, but you can use the 200 period as the same thing. These are just points of interest on a chart. So whether or not they hold or whatever winds up happening with Nvidia is up to Nvidia, but if it breaks through this 190, then you got to start looking downside. And I think that the next sort of area where the buyers may come in is 180 to 175, and then let's not talk about breaking 165. So that's the kind of stuff
165.
That would be this next, right here. If we break 190, which goes all the way back basically to right here, move my coffee to the way, October of 25, right there. If we lose it, then the next level to lose would be 165. And that's not something that I don't think will happen, but you never know.
That happens, maybe I'm getting arm under
don't want to
under
speak
150.
too much. Yeah, I think you have a lot of opportunities. And the pain is a little started in AMD, but the thing is, I heard Sharif mention today that he was thinking about loading up on AMD on this move down. Again, like you're at a spot where you could probably think about doing that in and around this 440 spot, and then tell yourself, if you break 400, you take 10%, you lose, and then you maybe worry about it if we do finally get to that 200 period. But remember, like Nvidia is at the 200 period moving average, which is right here. That's 320. This is why we sold AMD over the last couple of days. Right, we were looking like an idiot selling it at 495. Then we got some at 544. I don't know why that. It was literally 544. I just went like that, and it went right to 544. But anyways, and then now we get downside. So my average sell price in and around 520. It's not like it's a huge move, but we'll wait to see. I want to put money back to work. I would choose Intel over AMD for myself, and not necessarily Nvidia, but we're going to go to C in a second. For me, and Neil and I mentioned this a little bit in the morning, maybe we mentioned it to each other, but the safest play still seems to be the SPY. It's just so well diversified. You don't have the whole, even though the NASDAQ from its highs is down about 9% as of today, this is only down 3% max, depending on where you take the stats from. But the SPY has all those 500 names. It's up on a day like today. They do the waiting for you. They kick out the bad stocks. They put in the good stocks. It's just something to watch out for if you're an investor and you're a little nervous and you want to park some money somewhere. Even if there is a complete crash, I think a lot of the exposure will be in NASDAQ names. And if the move does happen, then you're going to see some love for XLF. You're going to see some people putting money to work in other spots.
Banks, industrial, healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All those kind of things, energy, whatever. All these names still have a lot of work to do. And I think you'll be fine trading the S&P 500 instead of the NASDAQ, because we're always wondering about buying stocks on the way down. Sometimes some of the best plays are just to buy stocks that are strong and wait for their stories to even get stronger, right? Let's not worry about when Nvidia will stop or when AMD will stop. Maybe it's time to look at a name and say, hey, we've got the XLF and it's breaking out. So maybe instead of saying, oh, well, I can't buy this because it's breaking out, maybe the breakout is the buying spot instead of saying, well, I'm going to wait till it gets all the way down here and it's broken before I buy it, right? So there is a back and forth aspect to that. But, we'll continue to talk about it. And again, not financial advice, Neil and I just talking about the stuff that we know and we've learned through our experiences. So let's go back over to someone that has a little less experience in the market because of age. And I think age is a huge benefit to investing. There's almost nothing else to investing other than time. So let's go back over and see what's up with Sia.
Sean, funny enough, as you just said that, I just checked my portfolio on my app and I just looked at what levels everything is at. So that's funny. We have the IWM that's up a little bit on the day. We're going to talk about 3 tickers here. So Air Test Systems is down almost 11% on the day, has filed a mixed shelf registration statement with the SEC yesterday. The stock is just reacting, I would say, to this. Yeah, there's no crazy news apart from this, but it is reacting. The stock did open lower as well, as you can see earlier in the day. We're going to take a look at another one, AXTI. That is AXT Incorporated, down 12% on the day. Just analyst commentary here saying maintained at neutral by B. Riley Securities and HYMC. Finally, you have Highcroft Mining Holding. That's down 4%, which is set to announce its Q2 results on the 29th of July, which is tomorrow. Revenue estimate, the time unknown, but revenue estimate is at 1.46 million USD with EPS at 15 cents.
No, he normally doesn't.
Thank you, Lucia.
Brian, if you're watching, we're ready for you. If you want to come on, we got some.
Well, we'll see. I guess if not today,
yeah,
then,
it's okay. Whatever. We'll get.
Hopefully, we'll get him on. Hopefully, we'll get him on.
As a busy man.
Yeah.
All right.
It's always nice. It's always nice to have him, but this is a big week. Let's be real. It's a big week for all kinds of traders. It's now a 3rd time halted. That volume is pretty bad on PSQH. Remember, we had been asking about on our halt scanner, which looks like this, to add a singular column here where you could also see volume on the day.
But my problem is I didn't put the ticket in. Did you?
No.
Whatever.
Okay, so here's what. See me do this. This is me, and I'm gonna just start the ticket because if you're at Real Trading, the platform that we use here, Real Trading, called P8, is proprietary for traders. It's built for traders, but traders have a responsibility to be participating in the upgrading of it by saying, hey, is there something that's not in the platform that you would like to see or a subtle change? That's where it comes from. So it's as simple as, hey, well, I would like to be able to have, when I'm looking at my halt scanner and balance locator, I want to be able to have all the columns that I do on my quote board. It's a simple enough thing for them to do. They're all right here. It's a matter of adding it. You just got to put the request in. So formally starting a ticket is something that everybody should do. And I don't care who the heck your broker is, man. They work for you. Like, Robinhood was down for you this morning and complained to them. Let them know you ain't happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up. Like, I don't know how long. They probably weren't even down long.
Should be like literally, bruh,
Well, I should have typed the message before. Anyways, I'm just going to go halt
thank you, Dara.
scanner, and then that way I know I can finish this aftermarket or something. That ticket, that's how you get improvement. Like, you've got to understand your broker works for you, right? Like, so even one thing that we've talked about with regards to like stop orders. I remember we had a day on an IPO where there was a subtle change in the way that one of the stop orders work in terms of the maximum amount that it would cross. And you get that clarification right away. It's like, okay, what happened here? You get that clarification right away from the broker so you can adjust. And now we know. And it's really that simple instead of like whining, complaining about it. So we came right up without stopping out on SpaceX, but it hasn't really come down to give the 1-to-1. So it's still holding just underneath this 117. It's about the 75 that we're working with. I'm not seeing anything too crazy on the volume scanner at all.
No,
not even the volume scanner. I'm just sort of looking at the trade rate here. And whenever it's like it's just Apple and Micron and Intel and Tesla, KLAC, keep wanting to click on it as if I'm connected here. Yeah, it's weird because sometimes you'll see something on the trade rate. I'll pull it up and it's like, is something really crazy happening on KLAC? SpaceX, we're already looking at. IREN, only 7% down.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like for some of these, that's a victory to not be double digits, just given all of the baby in bathwater that was getting thrown out here today. Where is Iron? Pulls right back into. Oh, that's the one with the shelf at 31. Ooh, that's spicy. See, Iron's pretty spicy here at 31 bucks. Like you're getting this is 4 times it's tested this price this year and been able to hold on for Iron, but I don't know when they report. I feel like you don't want to buy too many things before earnings.
We have STKH. I've been talking about things that might be on some scanners right now. So this one doing 23 million shares. This looks like it's trying to get excited again here with some volume, trying to pick up off of $3, looking to break through VWAP at 350. What's up there, Bovin says, can you look at NEXR? Is that another one of those ones that have halted here? I feel like we know this one. Oh yeah, Nexera. Yeah. Oh wow, 39 cents.
That's a penny.
Okay, now a penny stock, up 54%. Yeah, good call out here, Mr. Bovin. I can't say Bovin too much because we only have a limit, and Sharif's exceeded that already. So I'll just call you B.
Per person.
I'll call you B. Oh, is it per person?
I haven't said.
Yeah, YouTube got back to us and said we're talking about this Bovin guy too much. 30 cents. Just kidding. B. 30 right there. Break. Nice little break there on Nextera. NEXR. I thought this was
there was a story yesterday.
Yeah, like look at this on the daily chart. Like what? And so this name is split. So one split there in 24, another split there in 25, another split there in 26. And yeah, this stock.
Want to guess what they announced yesterday?
A reverse split incoming.
Yep.
Yeah. So like this is what it looks like. Just 30 cents. Like absolutely nothing going on. Just waiting for everybody. Ha ha. Brian Hurd. See, I put out the bat call, and now he is coming back, Brian. So we're going to have him in just 1 second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. But there it is, rated from Alpha Trades, Brian Shannon coming through very soon. But yeah, there it is. Taking out the dollar would be next. But yeah, this is NEXR as we look at another name here that has been just a little bit beat up there with a high of NEXR of $65,000 NEXR. If you put in $1,000 into NEXR today, you would have pennies on your dollar as you are now down to 30 cents. Imagine buying something at $64,000 and now it's worth 30 cents. Of course, that never got to that price. This is split adjusted, so we always have fun. It's like looking at that stock Mullen. That came through. All right, before we go to Brian, just a couple outs. So we did break above. We tried to go underneath this 50-period moving average. So we're still in the money, 20 cents here on Lucid. I mean, that's all that we were risking. So it's been a good day so far for LCID. Our best fills are 70s, which has been great. We'll see if we can hold this, see if we can get just a little bit lower. And then, of course, with Google, just waiting. I was going to wait for the 20, this is, a 200 period moving average. We're still long down here at 326. We got a lot of it out, as I said, near these highs because the market was tanking in the morning and I'm sitting here long Google, just thanking my lucky stars to be able to get out on the way back up. And then it just blew up there, Google, 334 right there, incoming as a possible out. So, we're $9 in the money now on this one and just waiting to see what winds up happening. But we don't want to leave them too long waiting in the green room. So let's bring it out. It is our guest of the day. And I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do stock blitz. Okay, Brian, so hang with me for a second. There it is. We used to do that a lot when I did the after show.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had a few different things there. So we'll go stock blitz because Brian, welcome to the show. There's lots of names to talk about all the time. How's your Tuesday been?
Tuesday's been good so far. I thought I was going to find a low in Micron and traded it successfully to the long side, but I got bounced out, so it's not quite ready yet. If you look at Micron, here's what I was thinking on that, is that we've come down to the anchor from the year-to-date low. That's that green anchor. And we also undercut last week's low by just a little bit here. And oftentimes that's where stops get placed and emotional shorts get involved. But after a drop of this magnitude, that it's instead turns out to be a place where we see a bounce develop. So we're still kind of fighting with today's VWAP in here. But I was involved over in this area and made some decent money with it. But I was hoping maybe we would do something like this and rally up towards a 2-day VWAP. But that one still got my attention for a counter trend bounce trade here, probably tomorrow, maybe Thursday.
We talk about that all the time, and that is that whether or not it's the anchor VWAP or whatever you're looking at there, I know you just talked about the anchor and then the 2-day VWAP, is those are just lines of areas of interest, right? I mean, we're trying to see, as you just mentioned, it's not always like, okay, we're coming into the VWAP there. It's definitely going to bounce off here, or this is definitely a long I need to take. That's why you sort of double check it when you mention that it undercut the previous day's low there, giving you some more points of interest. I mean, is that how you look at VWAP? Is just an area of sort of concern and interest, and then we look how it trades around it?
Yeah, it's just like any other technical tool. It could be a 50-day moving average. It could be a 61.8% retracement. It could be a trend line. Those are reasons to say, is this a place where other people are going to become interested? And if they are, let's take a look at that. So we're looking at the cues. You could say, well, that seems like it's probably an important level, the anchor off of the year-to-date low. Well, when we look at that level, on last Friday, basically, that was, showing zero signs right there of any buyer interest. So, that was Friday was right here. I mean, we got a little bit of a bounce, but the pattern still remains lower highs and lower lows below a declining 5-day moving average. So it tells me get interested like I did in Micron. And Micron, even though it's below that declining 5-day moving average, it tells me that it's still likely to bounce here in the next day or two, maybe even all the way up to that declining 5-day moving average. And that 5-day moving average might be at, let's say, 880 tomorrow, because it will still be declining as it averages this price information out. So, I mean, that would be a great short-term trade. So you've got to balance those levels and say, level of interest. Now I look for evidence where, I can't find the evidence that the buyers are gaining control on a 30-minute time frame. But if I go down to a 2-minute, a 5-minute time frame, then I can start to see, all right, we're starting to turn at least sideways in here. So that says maybe we're done going lower. But it also said that yesterday. So you got to balance that out and make sure that if you're going to trade it, you trade it aggressively.
I'm going to get over to Neil in just a second. I want to talk about Google first, and I just want to show everybody Lucid just quickly. Lucid's now making the move lower, and there it is. Yeah, give me that right there at 61. We're short here underneath $8 as it's starting to come to the downside here. Lucid, another name, Brian, that has just been beat up, and Lucid here on the daily continues to make new moves lower, but apparently some, Saudi prince today put a couple of $1 million back into the name and spiked it up. I said, yeah, that's not good enough for me. So we wind up going short there. Wait for it to, get some capitulation there with volume up to the upside of 850, let it fade back out. And I actually tried to short 820. And has this ever happened to you where you go to short something and you realize, Brian, that it's pay for shorts, that you got to go in there and you got to find the locates first? So I didn't have it for Lucid, had to go in there and buy them and pay for them a little bit, but now definitely paying out Lucid to the downside. We'll wait. I know this is not normally a name that you look at, these smaller names, but do you have the chart of Lucid up? What do you think about this?
I do, yeah.
What do you think about this move here?
Great move, obviously. It's not one that I've paid attention to, but if I was to short it, I would you'd probably have to pay up pretty dearly too.
Yeah.
The nice thing is with the bigger names, now we've got all these inverse ones, even like SpaceX has SPCG. So, this thing it's gone from 20, it's doubled in the last month, so from the beginning of the month. SPCG, that is. So you can go long these names and get the short exposure without directly paying for the short. They take it out of there somehow, somewhere, but you just don't feel it.
Yeah, both Neil and I have now lost pretty nicely on SpaceX shorts today. So that's the one negative name that I have in the account here today. I just wanted to show you Google quickly because I just did a simple kind of 3-day rule off of this name. And it's not about today. It's more about the daily chart for, whoopsies, what am I doing? The daily chart here for Google. We had bad earnings. Obviously, we saw them miss. They came back in. I bought it last 2 days ago, whatever, at 320, right there, starting to bounce back up. Where do we put an anchor on this? Do we go to this most recent low here and see if that's, some pressure points there? Do you put an anchor at the top? What are we doing here to see if there's a hold? I just use simple kind of 3-day rule. It's a name I like. The macro for me makes sense on Google. But what are you thinking technically here as we're going to come into now the next couple of days where we get more Mag 7 earnings? So if we see a similar drop in a few different names that we like, where can we strategically place a VWAP here? Is it near these lows? Is it near the highs? Is it year to date? Give us into the mind here, Brian Shannon. And if you're looking for a stock like Google, or maybe Microsoft misses and gets down 4 or 5%, something like that, where do you initially look to put these anchors?
Well, highs and lows, of course, and you nailed it with year to date. That's the orange one there, and I put some arrows on it to show that's the beginning of the year. Then it acted as resistance. It acted as a place from a strong bounce here. Now we're rallying up into it. This has the potential to become supply here. And when we just draw a horizontal little box, this has clearly been resistance, support. Now is it going to turn to resistance again? So that's clearly a level of interest. It doesn't mean it's going to get halted there, as we know. It's just a level of interest, just like it didn't stop going down at the 200-day moving average. People experienced pain there. So maybe it rallies up to that month-to-date anchor, Sean, or you could put one off the peak here and see that kind of lines up with that 50-day moving average up in there. But right now, I would say that the goal is to manage the risk on the shorter-term time frame and be aware of the potential for this year-to-date anchor might mean something here. I'm going to keep drawing the wrong trend tool, but yeah.
Okay, we get it. Good. Thanks, Brian. Yeah,
the one that actually I know a lot of people always like to talk about is Tesla. And here we've seen the gap lower from the earnings, and now we're in our fourth down day. And in Tesla, I'm thinking maybe this is coming into the zone that we've spoken about I think we spoke about it last week, if I remember. But we have the anchor from this peak right here in 2023. That's that red line. And then from the low right here in 23 to the all-time high, this is a 50% retracement. So those two things come together in the same place. And then let's just clear it up so we'll just put that anchor off that 23 high. And then we'll add that 50, that retracement. So those come together in that zone. And the other thing that made it interesting was the measured move. You take the height of this A to B, and this would be to B, B to C right here. I'll just draw a little line in there. And typically A to B equals C to D. So let's drag this and see that comes in also at this same area. So when I look at a level of interest, I say, who's going to be interested? Well, the people who had an anchor off of here might be. That's one group. The 50% retracement people might be interested. The measured move people might be interested. So we look at it and say, when we have a confluence of indicators saying this is maybe an important level, then it becomes more important because different people are looking at the same exact area for different reasons. Tomorrow we average this data out, so the 5-day moving average will come down like this tomorrow, even if the stock rallies. And then in a day or two, it might be very similar to the way that IBM responded after its earnings, that it came down to a key anchor, and then it finally got above that 5-day moving average, and we've seen a nice little run. So I still think it's early for a bounce in Tesla, but I could see maybe an initial bounce tomorrow that fails, starts to flatten out a little bit, and then by this time next week, you could see a nice run in Tesla.
Yeah, I hope so. And Tesla, like you said, it's been.
I'm not really buying the dips, but we'll see.
It feels like this earnings season is going to be a wild one because you look at how people are getting punished. Like Corning, the drop that it had this morning was pretty telling. I want to get your thoughts, Brian, if we can, generally speaking, on the kind of morning that we had here today, where I don't think anyone was incredibly, after Corning being down about 15%, there were a bunch of other like chip names, like AI names that were getting bled. I mean, Dell was down 15% at one point. Palantir didn't, it had some kind of a story, but was down 10 points. So which mode are you in? Are you sticking to what is your plan? Are there situations where, like at one point in the morning, I was like, this move in Palantir has gotten crazy. If it hits that 10% SSR, I'm going to go trade that. Or do you start scanning to see anything that could be bouncing off a major anchor? Do you flip into an alternate mode when we are just dropping that far on individual names?
I do. I switch into that mode, like I said, with Micron, where I look at it and say, okay, we've come down to this important level. Hopefully it's an important level because We've got kind of the measured move here as well, this A to B, C to D. We undercut that low and the anchor off of this area here. A lot of people have been flushed out and hurt badly in this name since the earnings report up in here. And it's, I'm not calling a bottom in this thing, but for it to get a bounce, and very similar just to Sean's point, I'm not buying dips. I'm not buying dips. I'm buying strength after a dip.
Right.
So my purchase here in Micron came right over here. It had rallied up above the volume weighted average price. I didn't buy there because I thought it was extended at that point. So I put an anchor off of the low. And as it was coming in here and starting to bounce, the semis actually touched it perfect, the anchor off of the low. They touched it perfectly right here. And that's when they were bouncing. And I figured, well, I'm going to buy Micron because I think that's going to get the hardest bounce. But my stop was, underneath the higher low right here. It's not just going against this declining 5-day moving average and saying, hey, I'm just going to buy, I think it's down too much. I've taken my profits, I've moved on, and it's moving here right now, but it's definitely not buying dips.
So this leads to the second part of the question. Tomorrow's the Fed, and we actually have a situation where this is not some 97% chance that we get no cut. Understandably, the chances of a rate cut has come down. It was 37%, maybe at the highest at one point yesterday. I think it's down to like 30% or whatever it is. But it's in question tomorrow. And then throw out on top of that over the next 48 hours, we get between Wednesday and Thursday, just an absolute boatload of major earnings.
Yeah.
Does that change at all the time frame? And obviously, like, the trade is the trade. Like, you're already in and out of it. But I'm trying to get into the mindset going into it before. Does it change your mindset knowing, well, even if you find something that you like for a swing today between the Fed and then just everything and their mother is reporting in the next couple of days, do your risk parameters change because of that? Because we're expecting to get some crazy volatility again for 2 more days after this dip.
Yeah, they definitely do. I'm trading smaller share size on everything. I mean, the fear of missing out for me is not as great as the fear of losing a lot because something happens. And lately, when you look at earnings from Micron, from Intel, from a lot of other names, it's been a case of nothing's good enough for the market. They're already priced too well, and the trend has been to sell off on those earnings. So the risk right now really seems skewed to the downside, which means if I'm going to swing trade, I'm not going to take anything overnight unless I've already taken some profit off and reduce my risk a little bit. And it's still, I might have started that trade with a half of a risk unit, and I take half the risk off today. Now I've only got a quarter of a risk unit overnight. So I'm taking it, based on what the market's telling me to do. That's what the market's saying. It's saying, the spectacular earnings aren't good enough. The biggest companies with the best earnings are selling off. Why would you expect your little stock to be any different?
Right.
Oops.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. No, but I actually really like that.
That was a mistake.
The point of, if you're going to hold overnight, make sure you've taken some profit. I feel like that's a level of discipline that you really, really need. We have some great comments in the chat there. And we get Pause saying great answer. Tony was singing your praises in the chat as well. But we've asked you a bunch of questions. I haven't really given you a chance. Is there a name that you're, like, something on the radar? I know you talked about Micron and already. We've asked you a couple of things here or there. But is there a name that you haven't really had a chance to talk about that, hey, I saw something today, there's a level I like, here's a trade that I'm seeing, or maybe even just general thoughts on the trend going into the Fed?
No, I really don't. I mean, I'm just in, I'm short a little bit of this SHAZ from yesterday, which is a nice one, but I'm looking at my list and, ACAD looks decent, but I want to see it pull back like this. The thing is, the stocks that are moving is very similar, like Expedia today. It just did the same thing. It broke that 20-day moving average, had a shakeout. This is what I sketched in yesterday. I was hoping that we would see a couple of inside days or maybe a pullback before it gets going again. Instead, it gapped up and continued to run today. So I really don't see anything that appears low risk to me. I see some stuff like Abercrombie and Fitch moving a little bit, Take Two, but they're getting, these ones are getting, I'm not excited about much here, Neil.
Well, you say you're not excited about much, but if you're short this Sharon Holdings at SHAZ, I don't know, like that looks.
That's probably not. Yeah, it's a small piece now, and I definitely wouldn't tell anyone to short it here. I shorted it yesterday after
the break,
the break higher failed, and we got back below the 2-day volume weighted average price right here at 63.70, I think was my entry.
Well, that looks like a great one. That seems like something to be excited about. I don't know. See,
well, I've only got a small trailer left, but it's nice, yeah. But I'm not excited about anything for a new position right here, right now.
Fair enough. But I think that makes total sense going into these crazy earnings the next 2 weeks, and then the Fed tomorrow. It's almost like the back half of that. You'll start to see some clear opportunities because the volume is going to be there for sure. Sean's got a little something.
Yeah, we want to thank Brian for coming through, and he is the author of this Anchored View up, Maximum Trading Gains with an Anchored View. You can pick it up on Amazon. He's all over the place. There's your markers at the bottom at Alpha Trends, both on stock, Twits, and of course on X. Brian, all your information is always so greatly received by everybody in our chat, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that you're available there on X. It's a small subscription, definitely worth it. Head over there and fire off a question, and I can see you're always answering, and you're providing great outlook on some of the charts and whatnot. But more importantly, is there anything you want to tell everybody? Are you going to be speaking anywhere? Have you got a new book potentially you're working on? Because we're always looking to drop ahead of, get that early sort of sneak peek over here if you're working on anything. But Brian, the floor is up to you. Everyone go grab this book.
I'll be on vacation next week. I'll be up in Alaska, so that's my most exciting thing going on, yeah.
Well, if you can and you got your phone there, let us know if you're up in the mountains or what you're doing. Maybe send us a little picture there, and we'll show everybody what Brian's up to. Planning on doing some skiing up there, or what's the plan?
No skiing, gonna jet ski amongst some glaciers, gonna go see the bears at Brooks Falls, gonna do some hiking and some fishing, and just a lot of activities planned. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Damn, I
sounds like a great vacation.
I like that. Sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Jet skiing amongst the glaciers. What is this guy, an influencer over here or something like that? This guy's
leveling up over here.
This guy's crushing it.
We'll be sitting in this desk right here and chilling out.
Yeah, we'll be here, Brian. So we want to thank you for joining us. Enjoy your vacation, and I guess we'll catch you in 2 weeks then.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Brian Shannon from @Alpha Trends. Go check him out immediately. One of our favorite guests and one of our longest running guests on the show. Thank you, Brian. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao, brother.
There you go.
Like as if Brian couldn't get any cooler. And by the way, fishing, jet skiing amongst glaciers, up in Alaska,
feeding polar bears. This guy is definitely on one, so we want to say thank you.
Big
to Brian Shannon.
Big shout out to Brian
coming through again, and I'll just keep that book up there, and keep supporting it. We like good information. Brian is one of the best out there, so go find him out. And if you are looking for Anchored View Op and things like that, he is the godfather of the Anchored.
I've never been that far up north. At all. First of all, I know we have a lot of American viewers. Like when I say that, trust me when I tell you, we're in Canada, but we're so far south. If you look at a map, I don't think I haven't even been to Northern Ontario, like the province that we're in. Like I've gone maybe 6 hours north, but I've seen jack of this country. You got to put it on the bucket list. Just an experience like Alaska. Like I have a few friends that have gone to the whale watching and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Out east and out west, but way up.
Don't mention whale watching to Adara because
what's wrong with what?
Remember yesterday we talked about Boston and she's like, screw Boston, you can do whale watching anywhere.
Well, forget about screw Boston. Sorry.
That was Joe probably.
I was gonna say screw SpaceX because someone in the chat was like, Neil, I hope you shorted the 118. While we were chatting with Brian, I had the short. We stopped it there. It did do you'd have to be pretty quick to get this one slapping back through 118 on that fail breakout. And the irony of it is it goes right into that prior high we were discussing. But again, I don't want to FOMO chase this move now at $1.50 from that high, but I do think it's worth another shot, but not on a chase. Like, let it give a consolidation, maybe try to pop up, head and shoulders, something, but not for a chase. Like, that's not going to be the way to go here. It's already down a little bit too much, for sure. Micron, I wasn't saying screw the bang bang. It's just, we have one, I hit my stream deck at the same moment as someone's hitting the other way. There, that's what you get. It's definitely the bang for that bang.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever that happens, I know that was some joy.
And I'm a huge, I love hiking, and that's sort of,
that's good. I mean, that's definitely something to go to Utah and stuff. All right, 334 breaking down right there. That's supposed to be one of the best places to hike there over in Utah. You guys go check it out. 334 break. We'll get out of that for 750 or so on Google if it does wind up taking that level. Looks like it's trying to barcode there. We had a question about Bloom Energy. We'll talk about that maybe when we get back because there's lots of action happening. It's already 320. So we're getting a little long in the tooth here today. Power hour, 20 minutes old. And I was just going to say we're going to go back. I believe it's SIA we're going to go to in a couple seconds. But SpaceX kind of got real excited there. Broke above 118 for a couple minutes and then just got hit back down. So it's trying to base out again. Thinking SpaceX could be due for potentially another run, but I would really like to see it down here at this 200 period moving average. I mean, once we broke it right there, it's just been upside and we defended. So we got to get below here, 116, if we're actually even think about going short on SPCX. So shout out to everybody that's watching us right now on the stream. We want to thank all of you for doing that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're on Twitter, we want to say hi to you. If you're on TikTok, we want to say hi to you. Wherever you are, say hi, wave, and we're here. We'll do maybe a roll call when we get back as well. It's Sia over at the desk.
Thank you. The SPY is currently up 0.35% as we head towards the closing of this trading day. Let's take a look at electric tech right now. Apple is currently up 0.73%. Nvidia up 0.5%, just above 0.5%. AVGO, RTX, TXN, ADI flat on the day, whereas you have MU, AMD, INTC, Dell. SNDK continuing to slide towards the downside. STX as well joining the pack, down 8.5% on the day. WDC down over 7.5% on the day. BA, however, is up 4.89, 5% almost on the day. Tech services, you have Google and Microsoft up on the day. Microsoft is up 1.2%. It was up 2% or so earlier in the day. Seems like it's lost a little bit, but still holding steady. Google is up 2.3% right now. Meta flat. You have Oracle that's up close to 1%, Netflix up 3%, Palantir down 6.3%, PA&W up, I would say close to around 1%, CRM up 4%, IBM close to 5% up on the day, Accenture, ACN up 5.8% on the day. We have Finance, BRKB showing a bit of strength here. That's up very close to 3% on the day. You have Visa up close to 2% on the day. MasterCard up 1.75%. But JPM, BAC, WFC, and Citi that was flat earlier in the day has now slid a bit into the downside. It's down close to 8%. AXP, WFC, BAC, JPM flat on the day. I'm just going to check levels for Robinhood. It's down close to 4% on the day as of today. And you have BRO, that's up 5% on the day. Retail trade, you have Amazon flat, Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, all in the green, with Home Depot reading the trio up 2.2%. You have TJX, that's up 2.5%. Just going to check another name here. TJX up 2.5%. eBay up 3.2%. I thought after the news today it might tank a little. It did not react to that at all. You have health tech. The entirety of this sector is looking pretty strong for today. Lilly up very close to 2.5%. J&J up close to 1%. ABBV is up over 3.5%, inching its way closer to 4%. You have ABT up over 2.5%. Guild up close to 3%. But two names, as I was talking to Adara off camera too, there's no reason for this, but Myrna was in the red right now. It's currently flat. EW is flat as well. Only those two names. Producer manufacturing, you have still a continued bearishness in the top names in this sector. LRC, XGEV, AMAT, and CAT still down on the day. Also, you have these two tickers, CARR and LITE, that are sliding further down than 8% on the day. Energy minerals also continuing to slide as oil also continues to. XOM down close to 1%, CVX down close to 1%. Moving on to consumer non-durables, you had KO report earnings today, up 4.5%. You have PM up close to 3%, PEP up close to 2%, PG is flat on the day. One name that I do want to take a look at in this sector is Nike. Nike is up close to 1.5%. And we also have Monster up 2.5% on the day over here, MNST. Health services, you have UNH up close to 3%, HCA up very close to 7% here. And I want to take a look at the mixed sectors that I always do go over. Utilities, process industries, and non-energy looking a bit of a mixed bag here. Lots of some green and some red, but there is also some flattishness that I'm seeing in these sectors as well. Non-energy, you have NUE that's up 7% on the day. And let me just take a look at consumer durables and consumer services. Consumer services, you have McDonald's, Disney up on the day. Disney is up over 1%. You have, I'm just also going to take a look at BKNG, that's up 6% on the day. Whereas consumer durables, Tesla continues to hold a bearish momentum from earlier in the trading day. It's down almost 1% on the day, whereas Ford, GM, and SNA holding on to their strength from earlier in the day, sending it right back to the guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. One name that is not up, as mentioned there, is going to be Bloom. Oh, now the fly is directly on my screen. See, that's the most frustrating thing. What am I supposed to do? Punch my own screen? Is there a shot from behind me? This sucker, he's just chilling right there.
Yeah, well, no one's.
No, because you can't see it unless you do the bald cam.
You should punch the screen, yeah.
I'm not punching my screen. No, this is what I'm looking at, but it's the shot from behind, which you don't have. Good. So anyways, the fly is just sort of chilling out right about, and he's flying away now, he's down here. But there were some questions about Bloom that will possibly be getting answered at 4:05 tonight. Avis aftermarket. We already saw, like this morning, UPS got waxed a little bit, Coke with a good one. But Enphase, Bloom, Ford, Ford at least a few times a year is worth a look. We already saw Visa with a good move. Tilray, does anyone care about the wheat stocks? No. Cheesecake Factory, that could be an interesting one. We were talking about Jersey Mike on Thursday?
I believe this Thursday, right?
Yes, I believe this Thursday, the Jersey Mike's IPO. So yeah, it's not the massive earnings that you're going to get tomorrow after the bell and then back at it again on Wednesday. But there's some names out there. Avis has been one of those potential squeeze plays, but I think the one that the most of our viewers, I think, and I feel pretty good about saying this, it would be Bloom Energy, without a doubt. Like this is one that I know is relatively widely held. Like you've got something in this space. The sad part here is I like the 200 period moving average. I don't own Bloom Energy. But I'd say the same thing if GE Vernova was breaking the 200 period moving average. It's not something you want to see. The fact that it's happening before earnings gives it the outside chance that it could wick this and still hold the 200. But once you're underneath the 200, you start thinking about, okay, like gap fills and 117 into the downside. You heard what Brian was saying about all these earnings. All they seem to be doing is dumping and then asking questions later. You need to be a bit perfect. It's not like they're getting credit for pulling back 50%. It seems as if they didn't do that for Corning today. Like it's like what, Corning down almost 50 points when the top wasn't enough. They just decided even further there because of a slight miss on revenue guidance for Corning. I know it's been battling back from 115, but it's still down 12%, up $10 from the low and down 10%. So Bloom, I think, is going to fall a bit into that category. But the fact that it already had today gives it a little bit better of a chance. I see you had the Magic 8 Ball out there.
Just moving it. Yeah, I was going to give one.
I thought you were asking.
I was going to give one, like, I just saw him get one of these magnets. And I was like,
there's an extra one there.
I thought maybe we had more than, we only have one extra.
Well, so I was like, today I actually was looking for, because I lost this one, but I found it.
Oh, you found it. Okay, I was going to say,
I knew we had a spare on the desk somewhere and sitting in the trophy.
Yeah, so we basically I'm almost out of Lucid right now. You know, more out. So I have another bid right here at 80s. So, or is it 80, 81? So if we can get that, then great. But we're gonna wait and almost get out of Lucid. I've changed my stop to flat now. I have less than 5% left of Lucid, so that's all good. Just real quick on a trade idea, is SpaceX breaking 116? So I mentioned it coming back in, watching out for this 200 period moving average on SpaceX there. So if we do break it, I do have an order to go short. So if you do see a Lucid short come in, it will be because it's broken 116. And then I only crossed 10 cents. The spreads are fine. I don't expect it to be a problem there. So I'm only crossing 10 cents. Hopefully 115.90 or better comes into the account there. And I just use stop orders, right? So they just triggers in. So I'm not in position, if and then order types, right? So if it breaks 116, then put your boy short. Like that's how it works. So it's an if then, and that's what I'm gonna wait for. So if it breaks, then we will get short there on SpaceX. Nothing until it, like I don't want to mess around right here where we are on SpaceX at 117. I don't even really want to mess around with 118. If it did come up here, I could see me taking, 30, 40 cents worth of risk and using that top end. But the problem is we are getting closer and closer, and we've seen, and this is why I might not even do it now. As we get closer and closer with, all good, Andre, we got this. As we get closer and closer to the imbalances, we are going to have some problems here, because the main reason SpaceX has gone up the last couple of days into the close, we've had like a great little run or tank, as it's shown up here on the imbalances. So we got to be very, very careful with what we're trying to do here on the SpaceX front, especially as we get closer to 350. But without any further ado, we just teased it a little bit because he was looking for a magnet. He found it. He's now back at the desk with Adara. It's 1. Let's go there. How about now?
It's actually not 1, it's 3:30 p.m., but no, all jokes aside, we're going to be talking here about the Asian markets, because we know they made a big splash, to put it very mildly, for the markets today. And we have a pretty big earnings report in this region that we're going to be expecting tonight. Here to talk all about it is Juan.
Thank you, Adara. Yeah, definitely a huge splash in the market. In Asia, we saw the Kospi pretty much an implosion, down nearly 11%. The worst single session decline in its history, and they're now at their 3-month low, triggered by mainly AI hardware panic, as well as the global semiconductor sell-off. We saw the likes of SK Hynix plunging nearly 15% to their limit down, as their US shares broke below IPO prices. Samsung Electronics also fell by around 13.5%, tracking, of course, US chip declines as well. There's a lot of fear in Asia in terms of hyperscalers. They could cut AI infrastructure spending. Apart from South Korea, even in Taiwan, we saw a lot of sell-off. They were down by about 4.65%. Their biggest name, TSMC, down by 3% after being flat the previous session. We also saw the likes of Delta Electronics as well as MediaTek plunging by around 10% each. In Japan, some of the big names that also were in the decline: Kyokusa Holdings down by 18.3%, SoftBank Group down by 4.4%, Advantes down 10.1%, and Tokyo Electron down 11%. So not really a good sign for Asia, all right? But if we take a look at what we should focus on at the open tomorrow, of course, South Korean Kospi is going to be the most looked at stock. We know that South Korean trading desks, they're going to be facing a lot of heavy volatility at the open, a lot of stress there due to their T+2 clearing lags. All that margin liquidation from yesterday's nearly 11% collapse, that's going to be hitting the order books at the open. So watch out for if there's going to be any state-backed buy programs, or it could be another secondary day gap down for the South Korean Kospi. We also need to look out for all those major central bank gridlocks right now. Japan, Taiwan, they're on high alert because of all those policy decisions coming up this week. We've got the US Fed Reserve, we've got Bank of England, as well as Bank of Japan. So expect cautious as well as defensive positioning ahead of those macro updates. And in India, the Nifty 23,900, that's your key level for the Indian trading desk, all right? Because you've got consumer giants, Hindustan Unilever, HUL, they tanked nearly about 7% yesterday. So if that consumer sector weakness continues and carries over to the major banks in India, it could trigger a breakdown below that of their support at 23,900, and you could expect it to go down to 23,750. You did mention about some key earnings. Maybe you can talk to me a bit about that?
Yeah, SK Hynix reporting after the bell, so that's absolutely going to be in focus, and I'm sure that will be discussed this time tomorrow on this desk. But again, guys, SK Hynix, 8 p.m. is the earnings call, so if you trade Blue Ocean, you're going to be interested. I do have a post coming out to remind you guys, if you follow us on X at TTV. We'll see one tomorrow at this desk at 11:30 a.m. to talk Euro, and then at 3:30 p.m. to talk about the Asian markets and likely SK Hynix. In the meantime, we'll send it back to the guys.
Like the Kospi, thanks one. The Kospi is just like that. It is every single day just a complete roller coaster ride. It's absolutely insane. But we did have a super chat from Chain Reactor, and apologies. We had Brian on, so sometimes these things get missed, but that's never the intention. We appreciate you. CCXI guys, super chats are lagging behind, so yeah, appreciate you. And I want to thank, it's not just super chats, we had a bunch of GIFs on TikTok as well, so I want to shout out to all of our viewers on TikTok that are following us there for sure, because we're just trying to follow everything that you guys want, try to answer as many questions as we can, cover what is moving, and do it all at the same time. So CCXI, look, it's probably already given up. You see that little bull flag at the top, and this little trend break and the fail of 15. So it's already on the pullback. Decent, but not fantastic volume. Also habitual line stepper. Not through any levels of resistance on CCXI as well. So yeah, when you don't get to, when you're looking for a squeeze, one of the things that makes a squeeze good is to get through big time price areas. So see that downtrend doesn't even get through the start of the most recent downtrend at that $15 level there. So anytime you have these SPAC type names, I believe this is one, correct me if I'm wrong, but you look at the chart, I believe this is a SPAC. Anytime you have these ones, like those, even like the 10s, the 15s, and the 20s, in this case the 15, look like they can be resistance. Not enough volume that I think with 15 minutes to go till imbalances, that you'd be trying to get anything, like you trying to buy a dip on this late in the day, probably not, would be my guess. But with 15 minutes to the imbalances, it is worth noting a couple of names. BMY, fine, it's 2.8 million. I don't know how much that's gonna move things for BMY, kind of a big stock. But BlackBerry for the 1.2 million buy, and Pins with a 1.1 million sell. I wish I could throw the vest on because ICE has a sell imbalance of 1 million. The Intercontinental Exchange, everybody, before anyone gets any ideas. But in a day where there's been some squeezes, BlackBerry down 5 points, but that's a decent size imbalance. 1.2 million shares. I see 15 million on volume. So it's decent size. Obviously, it's been volatile like a whole bunch of other things. Ooh, flat bottom break there on BlackBerry today. So 820 would be that key price level. The way I look at this going into the imbalance just quickly, it's a buy imbalance, and it's underneath that 820 resistance. So this would be a perfect pop, and then fade the 355. Like look for it to flip. So I'd be hoping for this one to come out as a buy, get up into that high, and then try to take a flip trade. Let's go to Adair.
I just want to let you guys know here, HIMS is moving a little bit on this, pulling back from actually decent bounce here off the lows. So FDA, I guess, published a revised draft product-specific guidances for certain generic peptide products, which could impact Hims and Hers. However, this came out 20 hours ago. I'm only mentioning it now because I just saw this circulate now. So again, old headline from 20 hours ago being recirculated for Hims and Hers involving peptides. Just making you guys aware in case you're wondering what that move is or you heard this headline. It's not new. Back to you.
All right, you gotta be careful with those. Oh, here comes SpaceX. SpaceX, for some reason, is tanking right now. I don't know what the story is. I mean, by tanking, I mean it's down $1.50. We are now into the short finally here on SpaceX. So I'm only gonna give this to 116.50. It's been a tough short here. I only want to give it 50 cents. We just get it. We actually get 98s there. So if we do have a move down, and again, maybe it's news. We've missed that. Like, I'm only going to give it right to back here. If it breaks up through 116.50, again, it's not even, it's about a third of a unit right now on SpaceX. I wasn't even thinking we were going to get this. I was actually, okay, we're going to get stopped out again. It looks like we were just waiting for it, and no downside play here for SpaceX. So far, so good. I did want to say that we do have a few super chats that we missed. Thank you to Peter here on TikTok. We want to say thank you so much for that super chat and a few other ones. We want to thank all of our friends there on. And then, Peter, what happened over here, man? This one had 73.32. There must have been some exchange rate questions going on over there. So thanks, Peter. And thanks everybody who's watching us right now on, again, across all major platforms. But we're into SpaceX right now. We're watching it go. We just covered some Lucid as well down here. That looked like it was going to be a good trade, and it has been a good trade here this afternoon. Unfortunately, like I said, man, sometimes when we sit here, we don't always make all that money. And today, SpaceX is taking money away, that's for sure, as we tried to run the short, but now it's just making a decent move here into the close. Maybe I'll give it to, you know what, let me give it a little bit more room. We don't have a huge, this might go against me. We always want to try to stick with our rules here. I'm going to put it to 117.01, a break higher, and we'll get out of SpaceX. Let's give it a little bit more room here as we do head into the imbalances. Oh, before we go, let's do this one time. We're sitting here on a floor, prop floor at Real Trading, and I like to show you guys the top 10 traders, right? I mean, a lot of the time we sit here and we wonder, hey, you know, how much money can prop traders make? I mean, obviously there are traders that lose money, and I only have the one side of it. But wow, yesterday someone stacked it up a little bit. We'll hit that and we'll hit some sirens. 71,701 right there. Big time day alert right there for one trader here at Real Trading that traded both the Amex, NASDAQ, and New York. So this person got money yesterday, then 15, 6, and then it starts to get a little weak near the low end here. But a lot of trading on Amex. Of course, that could be SOXL. That could be a matter of anything. Anything that's marked with .am, USO as well. Could be some gold, could be some silver. But there's some Canada. We'll say Canada right there yesterday. But yeah, good sort of top end side of this. But yesterday, this is why whenever we get super chats and someone says, oh, I just made $3 or $4 grand on a trade, or $5 grand or 10 grand, it's always like, look, that's fantastic and amazing. And you're part of an elite company, man, if you can make any money in the market. So definitely try to stay respecting your own nets, right? And your own P&Ls, because you don't get to make this much money unless you have, of course, built up an account and, do have the trust and whatever of your prop firm that you're with. So, start banking out a little bit of money there in your account, and then you can start to sort of ramp up just a little bit. All right, we have 8 minutes.
Get that Amex money.
Yeah, get Amex money. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you have that Arab money.
It's not quite the Busta Rhymes.
Of course, no, not.
Well,
not quite there yet. But
I was talking to Fabian. We were trying to get that, like a clip of that in time for like Lucid this afternoon, but no. Fabian's a busy man.
Yeah.
So the next time the Saudi prince invests in something, and because it would have been perfect because you were in the Lucid trade.
Yeah, I mean, we're still here. I mean,
I was just talking, but we don't have the clip, so I can't.
No,
I want to be able to hit a button and just have, and I'm dating myself. A lot of you probably do not know this Busta Rhymes song that I'm talking about, but suffice to say, Arab Money is a bit of a banger, and it would have been prescient today with.
We can always get it again. I mean, there's going to be more things.
Oh, it'll happen again.
To do with that, but
it'll happen again.
All right.
7 minutes till the imbalances here. Just very quickly, we're going to go up to the desk. We've got Sia, and then we'll take you into the close.
Thank you so much. Let's take a look at the money markets, also crypto, and then I'm going to give it to you guys. You can end the day with that. So now, pound currently trading around 1.329 to be precise against the dollar, slipping into a 3-week low as markets are turning cautious ahead of upcoming central bank decisions here as well. We're also going to take a look at the US dollar right now, trading around the 101.398 level. It's currently down on the day 0.11%. So yeah, to be precise, trading around 101.399 now, when it had held near recent highs around 101.5. We're also going to take a look at USD INR, that pair over here. So Indian rupee did receive that intervention from the RBI. So it has stepped up the defense of the rupee over the last 3 days by selling dollars aggressively, also targeting an off-peak trading hours to amplify the impact of market interventions. You have the rupee that's down 0.29% on the day, trading around 95.6 region. Let's also take a look at the levels that BTC is at right now. I'm just going to pull up chart over here. BTC is down 0.05% on the day. Earlier in the day, we had CNBC reporting that Bitcoin is showing its most encouraging signs yet of establishing a long-term bottom after months of weakness. This was according to certain chart analysts on CNBC that was coming on. So they also said in a note that downside momentum has begun to decelerate based on a bullish divergence in Bitcoin's weekly relative strength index, which is a measurement of the speed of price. So with that, you have BTC trading around the $63,600 region. Quickly going to check Ethereum for you as well, trading around 1,913. That's up 1.2% on the day. And finally, you have Solana trading around the $74 region. That is flat on the day.
Now pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you there, CS. So we still have 5 minutes to go until the imbalances come out.
We do have
We
earnings.
hinted the earnings tonight, again, not massive, but there's some decent ones out there. It just gets absolutely crazy. Tomorrow morning, we didn't look at. We looked at.
Yeah, this is what we're doing tomorrow. We got SoFi, Vertiv, Boston Scientific. I mean, some big names coming through. And then tomorrow, man, stay late with us. We'll be talking about Meta. We'll be talking about Microsoft. We talk about Robinhood. Joe, you staying late tomorrow night, or we got to pay you too much for that? Starbucks, Qualcomm, ARM, Lam Research, Chipotle. Like,
That
pick and
A-Rap
choose
money.
tomorrow. Okay, that means yes. Every time you hear the bang, then Joe is. Okay. Was it? Okay. He is staying. Okay.
Yeah, but you stayed last time for earnings.
There we go. Well, the problem is he did have a good point.
We
There was too much microphone.
We didn't have a setup
Yeah,
to make it
yeah,
work.
yeah. So
But Joey was more than willing.
Joe took that on.
For sure.
But remember, tomorrow, though, also, we get a little bit of a change up because, this gets thrown our way as well, right? So we'll get rid of Twitter. See ya. And we'll go over here and talk about what's to come tomorrow. And you have now, mark it down. Tell Siri or Google or Alexa. Shouldn't say anything too loud. Mark it down. You've got 22 hours left until we see what's going on here in the greater market. And of course, what we're talking about is the Fed interest rate. So 22 hours, 14 minutes, and 10 seconds. And you'll be joining myself, Neil, and the handsome Joe. And we'll be here watching out. Because remember, they got to cut over to us a little bit early tomorrow. So there, hey, what's up, Joe? How's it going? We're gonna cut over tomorrow. Watch the Fed, and what's expected right now is a complete and utter hold. So 70% right now that we stay where we are. 30% chance we go upside down and actually give a rate hike. I think that will send this market absolutely collapsing down to the downside. So I don't know what the options look like, but 30% might be worth a shot there.
I was going to say, I think we get a 100% chance that task forces are mentioned, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah.
Okay, could be wrong, but you said 100%, so
You probably go into Kalshi.
I think
that's,
she's right.
that's
Yeah,
shock.
we should go find that on Kalshi actually. What that's like. But let's just go over to December real quick and just see what we're talking about right now. So there's actually a 40%. I'm going to round this up to 40% chance that we actually have 2 rate cuts by the time December the 9th rolls around. So that should be interesting if we get 4 to 425. So, hey, man, if that's what we're sort of pricing out right now, let's get this party started and maybe get a cut starting tomorrow. But I don't think any of us are necessarily looking forward to rate hikes, not cuts. But tomorrow they could start the, sort of the move, and then we'll wait to see what winds up happening. I don't think Kevin Warsh and company will be doing that. We talked about the U.S. dollar and what's going on over there. Not much. So that's not really indicating that we are going to get too much of a move on that. We've been holding this SpaceX, and I've already said, I'm not super in love with SpaceX not making a continued move lower right here, nor am I excited about holding it too much against me as these imbalances come out. So our stop right now is $1. We're going to give this one $1, see what happens here. Hopefully we do have a downside play and we'll start to take some out. But, for right now, we're going to wait on SpaceX. And, yesterday we got some early indications the last couple of days of a SpaceX move. Like that right there happened at 3:30, and then all of a sudden at 3:50, an imbalance came to the buy side. So I don't know. You tell me. These last 2 moves, I mean, forget about that one. It's this last one right there. Once again at 3:30 went whoosh. So and then the imbalances hopefully have a continued move to the downside. So that's what I'm hoping for. We are less than 2 minutes away from those imbalances, and we'll show them to you live. And there's nowhere else it's going to show it to you. So thank you, everybody, for watching us. We're going to get those to you live. Adair will put out the number, and it should be fun at that point to see what happens with SpaceX and the rest of the market. We're coming very soon for you, and it's the interest rates tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Join us live. We're going to be starting at 1:45.
We'll be here
The
early.
midday show will still be happening. Well, maybe we'll do a 4-box. We'll all come on. Then at 1:45 to 2 o'clock, we'll sort of tee it up. We'll get the number at 2. And then Warsh and Company, I guess it'll just be Warsh actually, on the podium, right?
And apparently he's going to say some interesting things. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to move the stop. AMC, the same stop. I just do some bids a little bit tighter because we only have 1 minute till the imbalances. But this is a weird one. For the next minute while we wait on the imbalances, I looked it up. I do not know what the deal is with some of these bets you can make on what he's going to say. Why is family fight and family feud something that Warsh would say during his...
Wouldn't that be hilarious to see those?
Actually, he
What's the
talks a
deal?
lot about how the Fed's having a family feud. That's why he's like, we're like a family. We have family feuds. Yeah, he's very likely to say it. Actually, Neil, I wish I was joking.
To me, it's weird that it's even money that's something that he would say. Shock, 53% because of oil, 76. Balance sheet, that's obvious, right? Like that. I think that's one way that
Adair can make a lot of money on Kalshi because she knows.
Apparently.
Okay, well, let's do that then. Let's do it. Let's start depositing some money.
Look at this
We'll
sucker.
get it figured out, and we'll do a Kalshi show one day. You know, I think we could definitely do that. All right, we are
Gotta look
moments
for the
away.
low probability. Low probability is Iran and probability and tax and credit and layoff. Definitely. Good afternoon.
I'm guessing
I guess he's
SpaceX
not,
was a buy, I'm
It's,
guessing?
I see it as, I just looked up. I don't actually have it as anything that big on SpaceX.
There
But
doesn't seem-
Intel buy, that's the biggie, and that's really nothing. Like, these are nothing burgers. Pfizer's a nothing burger because it's so big. SMCI at 900,000, my bad. 900,000 could be something, but even that's pretty small. Tesla, 700,000, that's very, very small on Tesla. Berkshire, 600K, that's kind of nothing burger. 357 million for the overall market. These are pretty small imbalances.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's
Look at that
nothing
number there,
over a million.
357.
That's tiny.
That's tiny. Normally we're in the trillions. I mean, we could not normally, but on a decent day,
Yeah.
you know, we can get into that level. It
SpaceX
looks-
is 300K.
yeah, it's probably going to take. I mean, I'm not even. You know, we're just chilling. with
Lucid's
it. It's-
200K. That's tiny.
I actually just sold Lucid right here at 93. I was just like,
these are
once it came out, we took our profit on the last 5% and out of Lucid. So it was a good show of Lucid today. I mean, you know, did make that move up to 850, now back down. Anything else halting? This STKH. Shout out to everybody there on the chat that's been talking a little bit about STKH here. But unfortunately, since we've sort of looked at this at 3 o'clock, it hasn't halted since. Last halted at 2, then again at 3, and kind of just hovering around Steakhouse, STKH. Of course, that's not the name of it, but that's what we're going to watch out for that. And then the other name that was, oh, by the way, there goes SpaceX. Nothing really done. It breaks the highs. We took that risk there with it moving down. And that's now a couple days in a row that we've had SpaceX bids. So we could probably think about, I mean, although tomorrow is Fed, we could think about the long before 350 tomorrow at least. See how that's setting up. If it is setting up, then we can take it because that's a good little mover there into the close. SpaceX, now multiple days in a row, we've had some good takes on SpaceX.
But this is the only one where it's going to close. The difference here, that's just
It might reverse at
this isn't the
355.
only one. It actually dumped the last time it closed, breaking out when it broke highs at the end of the day. Or late in the day, I suppose. Like, it was in 2 more good down days. So yeah, this one didn't really sell off, but has it really broken the downtrend if we don't get above 119, 120? I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure that is going to be true, but is what it is. Bloom is going to be a big one. I added that one to my list, but I don't even see an imbalance on Bloom for those that were asking. Nope, never mind. 10,000 to the sell side. I was reading the wrong thing. Bloom Energy has about as small of a sell. It gives enough of a sell imbalance to say that it exists, but it is going mini Bloom to the upside. It's a nice bounce off the lows, up $13 from the lows going into earnings after the bell here. But when the number at the top says down 9%, I suppose it would be hard to get excited about this bid that it's catching here. Everything looks, in hindsight, like not too great off of these lows. So they're fantastic if you're day trading these lows. But Bloom, you got some work to do. At least it's not 50% off of the highs. Spoiler alert, yes it is. Cheese in a chair, thank you for the super chat. Can someone please explain to me how ILMN has avoided all the bludgeoning that everyone else in the tech has gotten in the last few weeks? Stands out like a white shirt during the late rounds of a food fight.
Illumina.
Where do you get these ones? That's a good one, man. A white shirt in the late
Food
rounds.
fight.
Of food
Yeah,
fight.
like that should not be white. Yeah.
You know what?
It's actually a great,
Old school, like
actually a great reference.
I know they have those smash rooms, like where you just bust crap, like the rage room.
Yes.
Yeah. How come you can't just have a food fight room? Like when you're a kid, just get
You can't.
tomatoes out
It's
there.
called like the cafeteria. I mean, you got to start it yourself.
You remember our boy used to just throw the bananas all over in the cafeteria.
Yeah, it feels like Randy around here.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But yeah, you gotta watch out for that one. Yeah, I don't know. What is Illumina? We can have a quick look and maybe see why. But before, hold on a second. We will get to that Illumina. I just want to see SpaceX here because we are now moments away from 355. I'm actually going to try a small short here against it just in case we could get stopped out again, but sometimes at 355, which we're now 30 seconds away, maybe we're a little too early on this move, we can flip the other way and go downside. There's some size here on the offer. I think you'll just tear through it. I mean, it's done 75 million shares today, so it's not about that. Darn it. We took it a little bit too early. I wanted to see if there's some maybe SpaceX. Yeah, because there's Apple with a nice little bid into it right there. SMCI, okay, here comes with a small sell. Maybe we get a little bit of a flip happening over here. I mean, put some bids out, and then we'll see if we can catch something on the downside here at 55. And there it goes. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
there it was. Good one. Good move, Sean, on that one as we pat ourselves on the back for it. I mean, it still could go up, down, and around.
For what?
Right now, it's.
I just want to explain the trade because it might be hard to see because you wouldn't have seen SpaceX there. But SpaceX was 500,000 to buy at 3:49 and 59 seconds, and at 3:55 it flipped to 184,000 to sell. The reason for that is in the imbalances, specifically at 3:55. It's a major pairing event. I don't know any other way to say it. That's what they call it. So a lot of times you'll have whatever the imbalance is, whether a lot of orders get thrown in to offset it, that can cause it to reverse in the other direction. That's why we reference the trade. Because it's hard to see when there's a million names out there on that big locator and you're sorting by size. I like to be able to highlight. That's why we do it. I should Palantir on there. That actually flipped as well. I'm just gonna get. It's got to get out of it. Like it took all afternoon for AMC to finally fall into VWAP, but it is doing so with about 3 minutes to go. Oh, I don't even have enough bids to get it all out. Because I don't think it gets all the way down to 260, but it is now finally coming back in here.
I was going to say, Illumina is just a medical diagnostic company here, academic research, things like that.
Didn't even talk.
So, yeah, they are outside of everybody else. You know, Thermo Fisher, Danaher, Agilent, just talking about, and a PE of 36, 34. So I think it's probably a little bit of a high PE. They are reporting in 2 days, but that's why. To answer your question, why do they look like that clean white shirt? Because it has nothing to do with the fight in the cafeteria right now, right? I mean, right now the fight is with basically it's everybody that's, you know, really had a great time in the cafeteria recently. That's AMD, Marvell. It's everybody that's attached to, of course, the data center trade, GPUs, everything like that. That's what's getting hit now, right?
They're eating outside in the bleachers.
That's what I mean. They're not attached, right? And even if you look over here, we talk about some strong names into today. Look at the health technology space, right? Every single name is green on here. You know, so yeah, good look there. And thanks for bringing it up, but that's part of it, right? And even if it is a health services company, I mean, they talked about managing, research, all that. Look, all green into this space here as well, which my Oscar is actually doing quite nice as well. So there's been some nice get-ups there in the stock heat map. So if you guys are asking about like why certain stocks are surviving, it's, you know, a name like a Netflix, you know, doesn't really get too caught up in this anymore either. So they've been getting hit to the downside. Today up 3%. So you're seeing some nice push forward there on Netflix as the market's really been getting hit the last couple of days. Whoops. And there's Netflix right there. Upside 5 days in a row now, NFLX. All right, man, we're finally starting to get it going here. So let's just go bang for a little bit on SpaceX. Now down 50 cents in the money, backside trading there. There we go. We get 26, we get 20s. It's a nice little downside play there for SpaceX into the close. So we lost holding it against the play, and then all of a sudden, boom, we take it. And I don't know if that's experience or not, but sometimes you get those, I guess it is, sometimes you get those flips at 55 when it came really for no reason there, which is what got me a little excited. So that was that move there on Netflix on SpaceX. And we are starting to empty it out. I only have now 20% left of this trade to begin with. So I'll put another bid here in the 40s, see if we grab that. And SpaceX right now made a little bit of money back on that move. So that was a good one with only a minute and a half left now.
Only a minute and a half, and thank you, Mike P. DeRider. He starts out the day in this chat, probably number one for the first, I'd say 75 to 100 messages, at least. And now number one, facts, Jack. We appreciate you. Well, we appreciate all the viewers. It doesn't really look, whether you're TikTok, whether you're on YouTube, whether you send super chats, whether you're just casually listening in, trading, maybe you could be trading Forex for all we care.
Yeah.
Like it's, as long as you're getting some out of it, you enjoy the show, and then let us know what you guys think. We put the polls up. You know, we're here all day trying to answer questions. We try to get to everything that we can. I will say one thing that I know when like Joe's in here having conversations, just for everyone that's in the chat, if you're not in the chat, you should be. Just hit the subscribe button. If you go at Joe, see this? I can say hi. And then when Joe sees it, it'll light up. So you can always tag us. And then it's an easy way to get our attention there in the chat, because we're doing a lot of things. We never want to miss out on super chats or any good questions or anything you might have. But this closing bell is brought to you by VinFast. Want to shout out to them. Ticker VFS. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you right now, as we are about to conclude the last day before the Fed and before the earnings day juggernaut that we have coming tomorrow and on Thursday. Bloom is going to report today. Apparently Caesars might have already reported.
Yeah, we just got that news from Caesars.
Caesars looks like they reported after the bell, but I guess Bloom is the one that people wanted the most. Why can't I flip? There we go. Trying to bring it up for you guys. Caesars to the downside. Not much. I mean, it dropped like 20 cents here, but that's the first report. Bloom's a bigger one here after the bell, but they're not till 4:05.
No, we're excited. Thank you, everybody, for staying late with us here. It's only 4 o'clock, so you didn't necessarily stay late, but
we're still here.
We're excited for everything. I mean, if Bloom comes out, we can cover it real quickly, but right now, I don't think we're expecting this till 4:10, so we'll let this one go a little bit there. NASDAQ finishes the day down 0.87. The ES up a quarter of a point, so we like that. Just a little quick look here on USO, and we'll see what's going on with USO quickly. 120, down another 3%, so down 8% yesterday, down 3% again today, USO. Thank you to One today. Thank you to Fabian, Ramin, Tiffany, Andre, Brendo, Joe, my guy over here that's left, Sharif, Sia, and Adara. And of course, thanks, Neil, for everything today. And thank you to everybody watching. It's been a fantastic one. Lots of super chats today.
Shout out to Brian.
Exciting. Yeah, thank you so much to Brian, Shannon as well. And, join us tomorrow. We'll have, is Raheem coming through tomorrow? We'll check the calendar. But
Checks calendar.
He is. I think I just heard Adara say. Luis tomorrow. Even better.
Luis in the morning and in the midday.
And in the midday. So watch out for some small cap talking there tomorrow with Luis from A-Day Trading. All right, good show today.
All right.
Hey, man, everybody chill out. Yeah, tonight, I've got a game tonight, 8 to 10, so that should be fun. The weather looks okay. I just double-checked. 20% chance of rain.
Okay.
So we'll see if it holds out. It's humid as you know what outside.
Oh, it's so humid.
Right now, it is very, very warm. So, all right, check us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everybody on TikTok. We'll check you tomorrow. Ciao for now.
Peace.